Hello and welcome to
Hey, we like your pod.
And we're going to tell you why. Hi, it's Dawn here, and I'm joined, as always, by my trusted partner, Matt Pickett. Maddie, how you doing? How was your day? How was your week? How is your life?
Wow, okay. In that order. Day, pretty exhausting. Week, very exhausting. It's just the thing I've been saying like every week, how we're in orientation season, and it's just a cumulative effect of exhaustion. But it's the good kind of tired though, Don, where I'm helping students, I'm putting out fires, I'm doing all the stuff. It's very like active, engaging, gratifying work. So not a complaint. But boy, am I tired. and on that note, I should say this is, of course, a different time than we usually record. So thank you for being flexible with that, Dawn. I really appreciate it since I was otherwise engaged on Thursday night. And then life is good, overall. The news of the day aside, trying to not think about that for the moment, but otherwise real good. How about you? How you doing?
Yeah, well, I am a little tired too. I've had a lot of sleepless nights because of Kitty World over here. So Tasha's over there sunning herself right now. She seems pretty happy. Pepe LaFleur is back with his foster mama for now, Jordan, up near LA, because Tasha's health journey does continue. We don't have any answers yet, but Wednesday we have an appointment for an ultrasound and a specialist, some more sophisticated blood work. So yeah, it's been very difficult. I'm pretty shook. She seems okay. She doesn't seem like she missed Pepe, but she is wanting to play a lot and meowing. So I'm wondering if she's meowing for him. Of course I can't tell. I don't know. I'm not a cat. But yeah, yesterday I got an art commission a while back, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And I said, I'll do it, but you're going to have to wait till I have time. And so finally last night, I just did some art therapy and started working on that. So I'm excited to hear what they think of what I did so far. And so that was different for me to actually, I get things for me are very sporadic when it comes to work, but art is art and it's fun. So that was very therapeutic. It felt good to at least get it to the first stage with them. So yeah, and then I finally had my finger looked at. My finger's doing good. It's still kind of healing, but nothing to worry about there. One of my friends was really concerned that it was like a displaced fracture or something where you can get an infection and blah blah blah. He's like, you're gonna have it reset probably. I was like, oh my god. No, that sounds horrible.
That's horrible. Yes.
So I was nervous, and I finally got myself over to urgent care where there was an orthopedic specialist, so I could have that looked at. Everything's good, but most importantly, there's only 7 weeks till football.
Woo-hoo.
Can you believe it?
No, I can't. That's way less than, if I had to guess, I'd be like, I don't know, like 56. I don't know. So I'm glad to hear it's only 7. That's wonderful.
I know. So let's get to it. Let's get to our superlatives. Maddie, how about getting us started?
Yeah. Real quickly before we do it, I just want to say that is awesome. You got to do some art stuff last night. That sounds like, well, therapeutic, like you said. I mean, this sounds really wonderful. So very cool. Happy to hear that. And happy that your finger is like pretty good shape, it sounds like, right? So
yeah, it's just a healing fracture. I thought it was 2 spots, but they can't tell because I let so much time go before I had it x-rayed. But it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's broken. It's like I didn't care. I kind of treated it like when you break a toe, they don't really do anything. But then my friend's like, I'm taking you to the urgent care right now because it's not a toe, it's your finger. Like, okay.
Very different thing.
Yeah, okay. So I was happy to get that done and take care of myself and not just the cats. I do miss Pepe a lot. We are staying in touch, depending on what we find out with Tosh, we may or may not have him back. I don't know. I just
Well, I
don't
hope that
know.
works out. Yeah, I hope that works out. So anyhow,
yeah.
Superlatives. My first one for this week is most heartwarming. Here I'm talking about the annual Packs What She Said episode for Father's Day, where they talk to their dads, which is just tons of fun.
Yes.
I mean, I love the show, of course, in the first place for the perspective and the knowledge and the wisdom that both Maggie and Perry bring to it. But then bring on their dads and kind of, you hear a little bit like how they became the person they are, like a little flavor of that. I've got a daughter yelling in the background. Hold on just a second.
Oh, I thought it was my
Thea, I'm recording right now. You got to stop yelling. Thea, I'm serious. Nola's up here. Just hold on. Good times.
I thought it was my cat. I thought it was Tosh.
Yeah, no. This is the fun thing about recording during the day instead of when they're asleep. Thea, I'm recording a podcast right now. Okay, so anyhow, yeah. Speaking of being a parent, right? So hearing their dads, hearing Maggie and Perry's dads, some of their ideas and stuff, and it just for me, I think heartwarming is the word I chose because it calls to mind the sort of like wonderful image of the distant future when my kids are like knowledgeable football people and have me on their podcast, and like it's just like, oh, that would be so great. So it just warms my heart. I just love it. And the questions they ask are always so like interesting. The responses that their dads give are always like impressively knowledgeable and insightful as well. So really love that episode. That was my first one. Most heartwarming.
I love that. And we should have Thea on the podcast sometime.
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Guest appearance now that we're live streaming and all that. So that'd be fun. Hi, Thea. Yeah, I know. I heard the noise and I was like, gosh, what is it? And I looked over and she didn't look like she was meowing at me. Yeah. But it's interesting how much a cat can sound like a baby.
I was gonna say she wasn't saying my daughter's name, right? So cat's like, Thea, what the heck? It'd be very strange. It'd be a very
you never know. Maybe in a year from now it'll be happening. Yeah. I love that show. I didn't listen yet this year, but I listened to them. I think the last 2 years do interview their fathers, and I love it. So thank you for reminding me. I'm going to listen to that today.
Yeah. What's your first one?
Well, I don't know. I have so many to pick from. Let's go with the last one that I consumed first, and that is what happened to Aaron Rodgers versus the 49ers in the 2022 divisional playoffs by JT O'Sullivan, who runs something called the Quarterback School. So he has a YouTube channel, and you can sign up for his quarterback school, whether you're a fan or whether you're actually an aspiring quarterback. He was a quarterback, and I think I mentioned him, a long time ago on our show, but he's here in San Diego. So, the school is fun. It's made for fans and players and coaches. But it's really in depth, which, we like for our content creators. And it just goes through all of the throws that Rodgers made in the last game. And he doesn't, it's clinical. Okay. He's not coming at it from we should have done that, or no emotion. He rarely even makes a suggestion as to what a player should have done or might have done, or what he would have liked seeing happen. You could tell he was a little disappointed, obviously, in what happened, but he did at the very end kind of sum it up, and I was reassured that he summed it up in a way that we all summed that up. There was a little bit too much counting on Devontae, a couple of mistakes, but what he did say, which I was happy to hear from, especially because he was a professional quarterback, is how well the plays were designed. And so again, we still have LaFleur, we still have Rodgers, and it might be an opportunity for us to be better this coming year. But not having that, I hate, for lack of a better word, crutch, to just always go to this one person. There were some other opportunities he could have. And like I said, it was very clinical. It wasn't. And in fact, I watched / listened to it the first time, and I was still too upset about it. I was like, there's only 7 weeks left for the next season. It can't be too soon. I got to get over this. And then I watched and listened again and picked up more. I mean, it's just a masterclass, really, like Dusty and Andy Herman level. Really good. I like the way he speaks. It's slow, it's deliberate, easy for me to understand. And so he's my first superlative, and I'm going to call it, what's the word? Biggest trigger of the week. Because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch this. And then I was like, okay, it took me a couple days to even watch it.
Totally.
So biggest trigger, but also I feel optimistic about it.
And what's the guy's name again?
His name is J.T. O'Sullivan.
J.T. O'Sullivan.
Do you recognize his name?
Yeah, I remember you bringing him up earlier in the back in the season. There was something really amazing he had done, quarterback school video, right? That he had done.
I'm sure it was, because that's what his. Yeah, it was. That's kind of his. Of course, he knows the whole game, but that's kind of his claim to fame is quarterback school. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it being just amazing. It was such a good video, that last one. I didn't realize he put another one out with Rodgers. I will definitely check that out. I'm excited about that, actually.
Yeah, he has lots of videos. I just happen to, probably because of the YouTube, social media algorithms, they don't show you every time. And I do try to turn notifications on for the people that I follow, but not everybody. And maybe I didn't. Maybe I had the notifications on, but I know YouTube knows I follow the Packers and they know I follow him. So since it was both in this case, they definitely were like, Dawn, there's a video for you to watch. So I watched it. Thank you, YouTube.
Very fun. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Should I do my next one?
Yeah, please. What do you have?
All right. So for my second superlative, what I have is most insightful. So, I'm often saying nice things about John Meerdink, who future guest on the show. And the thing about his shows, right? As I said before, they're very densely constructed, lots of information, to the point. They're concise, but they're so full of info, right? And so every now and then, though, he just hits all the notes, and you walk away like you've learned something, and it's only been 23 minutes of your life listening to the podcast. And this was a prime example of that. This was the episode from earlier in the week, episode number 546, where he was talking about what can we expect from the quarterbacks this year, which seems like, if you were to ask just anybody, how about if you were to ask me what my thoughts would be on that before having listened to that podcast, I'd be like, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers play really well, get us to hopefully at least the playoffs and hopefully the Super Bowl if we're lucky. And Jordan Love, I don't know, be ready in case. That would be what the standard person would say. But he went really into depth with it.
Yeah.
The thing that he set up, expectation for Jordan Love, I especially liked. He talked about look like a varsity player out there among JV players. So when Jordan Love is playing with the second string, especially, he shouldn't look like he is part of that second string. He should look like somebody who's been there before, has some experience, look like a varsity player among them. And I loved that so much. We should see that kind of a move forward for Jordan Love. We should see that kind of progress. So especially that is, in the preseason when we'll see him playing with the sort of JV squads of whoever we play for the most part, and of, most of the rest of the team. So that was amazing. He also talked through the this notion that Rodgers, doesn't throw to the rookie receivers, and kind of talked through, well, in the past, here's when his most prominent receivers, when they were rookies, what he did do, here's what the yardage and whatever else was, the stats, and it was eye-opening. I was like, wait, so this is yet another unfounded thing about Rodgers, so many, he just broke that down, which was amazing. And then also talked about the book that they're doing for their book club, which, for those who don't know, Blue 58, they do a book club every summer, and that's also really fascinating. I haven't picked up the book yet. I've been meaning to get a copy of it, but it was a particularly strong episode. So definitely most insightful for John Meerdink.
Oh man, I love that. And I'm glad that you retweeted it when you did, because I listened to it as well. And that's another one. I think I listened to it twice. I could probably listen to it a third time, and then pairing it, because we like to pair things with that quarterback school video that I just mentioned. I think, that's a nice pairing. Awesome. Nice. I like it. I'm glad I picked that one first. Like I said, I have so many to pick from. So let's stick with quarterbacks. All right, so I'm going to offer a superlative in my first in the series of fraternizing with the enemy. And that is picking a player that I admire that's from a team that I am not necessarily a fan of. I mean, not a fan, but obviously my number one team is the Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean I can't appreciate other players across the league and other teams in general, coaches and whatnot. So my first one goes to, I know, if you've been listening, big surprise. The smartest quarterback in the room, actually, is Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. Yay, we love him.
Okay, so I'm going to make this quick and efficient, hopefully. So what I love about Justin Herbert, first of all, he's number 10, and that's my favorite number in general in life. He's grace under pressure defined. He's 6'6". I'm a big fan of a tall quarterback. They can see better. But I like 6'6" too. He doesn't like to take time off football. This is what reminded me to actually come up with this idea for off-season content. However, I may carry it forward throughout the season. We never know. But he doesn't like to take time off of football. I appreciated that. He said the reason that and this is I have some links that I'm quoting from, but I'm not going to bore you with that right now, but it's in the description. The reason Herbert isn't a big fan of vacations is because he views his job as a vacation.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh, that's a nice feeling, isn't it? That's how I feel about art too. And as I mentioned, he's incredibly intelligent and committed to his other passion, which is science. And that's biology, to be more specific. And so one of the reasons I say he's actually the smartest guy in the room, even though he's humble about it, he would never want us to say that. He was as a senior in college, and I believe he's already started on his graduate work, if I'm not mistaken, but he was awarded one of the most prestigious college football honors, which I had never heard of. It's called the Academic Heisman. Have you heard of that?
I didn't know that was a thing. No, what?
It's the National Football Foundation, and it's called the William V. Campbell Trophy. And he got it in his senior year in college, right before he was drafted, and that was in 2019. I think what he did was he could have been gone to the draft the year before, and he finished, because he does want to go back and get his graduate degree, which he was, through this trophy, he earned postgraduate scholarships, and of a significant amount. So it does. Yeah, he's really, what I like about this in general is he's as committed to his academics as his sport.
I love that. I mean, of course, sorry, Don, as somebody who works, with student athletes and hates to see them just go without finishing the degree. Like, I love to hear that sort of a thing. That's great.
Right. Yeah. Well, you'll have the link. You can maybe quote this for your students. Yeah. And one of the other things I kind of remember hearing about him, because I watched that first game when he got thrown into the game unexpectedly, which was really tragic for, oh my gosh, I forgot the other, adding insult to injury, literally. I forgot the name of the quarterback that was starting that he had to end. Sorry, I'm not going to prolong that. Anyway,
I can't even either. We'll look it up later.
He went to the Texans last year, and I was watching, really feel for him too. But Justin Herbert, they kept talking about how he has a 4.01 GPA. And this isn't a 4-point scale, not a 5-point scale.
What then?
And I'm like, how is that possible? Maybe you can tell me. But he's a 4.01, which is better than perfect in biology. He used to raise quail, frogs, butterflies, parakeets, and hermit crabs in his grandparents' backyard. And that's why he's interested in biology. And like I said, he's super modest. So there's just so many things. He's got great hair.
He does.
He's here. He's here. And a lot of my friends are Chargers fans because San Diego, they went to LA from San Diego, but it's not that far away. And there's still plenty of my friends who are Chargers fans. And so I'm really happy for my friends too, to have him as their QB1. So I know, fraternizing with the enemy.
Fraternizing with the enemy. Nice. I liked it. Yeah. So that's a new idea for sort of a segment that you had, right? So kind of folding it into the superlatives. Very cool, Dawn. I like it. I'll have to think of somebody for next week for that. All right. Should I do my next one then?
Cool. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I before I do, I should really quickly just say that, yeah, he's such an impressive quarterback. I mean, one of my favorite podcasts that I've talked about a little bit is the Athletic Football Show with Robert Mays, often with like Nate Tice is a common co-host, but Lindsey Jones, a bunch of other people I can't think of the names of, Sheila Kapadia, people like that. So Robert Mays loves him, and so I feel like I have more of a perspective on how good of a quarterback Justin Herbert is, and to hear the way they talk about him on that show, it's like, okay, he is extremely talented, and even though like the team hasn't been like super successful with him in it yet, like they're gonna blow up, sooner rather than later. So
right, they should.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing quarterback.
So. Yeah, there are so many. I mean, I have really never heard an unkind or questionable thing about him, and then just utmost respect for his talent. So yeah, they've got to build the team around him, and let's hope for Charger fans' sake that they do, and for his sake.
Yes.
But he still has a lot of joy, and that's the thing. He's not. Yeah, that's what I love about him. Just his sense of calm and joy and focus, regardless of. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person who's going to have a bad attitude.
Yeah.
I hope I'm right. Yeah.
I hope you're right.
It can happen to anyone, but I don't think he would hang on to it if he did. Yeah.
All right. So for my last superlative then, I've got best guest. So I think one of the funniest podcasts out there right now, one of the ones I like listening to the most is Last Call Lambeau, which is the one that friends of the show, Aaron Ellis and Sam, do with Monty Moore. And it's a Game on Wisconsin one. Very funny show. They have great chemistry. And so this week, though, they had a guest on, Matt Ramage, who, of course, I think most Packers fans who consume any level of content are probably familiar with him and how hilarious he is. But so you take these three really funny people who have really great rapport, great chemistry. You put in this like kind of crazy dude who's hilarious. It was a very entertaining episode. Like when I started the episode, I was like, hour and 39 minutes. What are they going to do for an hour and 39 minutes? But they were going to be hilarious for an hour and 39 minutes is what they did. It was a really, really fun episode. Of course, you can expect anything Aaron's involved with gets kind of vulgar, of course. So, content warning on that. But boy, oh boy, it was a really funny one. I was laughing like a fool through many, many moments of it. So, in fact, I even posted a clip of something that Sam said in it that just killed me. So, check that out. It was a great episode. Very funny.
Oh, we all need to laugh a little more. I like that certainly about all of those. I've only watched Last Call Lambeau a couple of times. They usually go live, right?
No. You might be thinking of Lombardi's Bar.
Lombardi's Bar.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
Yeah, which is
okay.
Todd and Jimmy and Dan. Yeah.
Yes,
so
I mix those two up. Yes. But I follow each one of them separately, and they're hilarious. So I think that's another one. I'm honestly going to take your superlatives, because I've been consuming an awful lot of content, non-football stuff too. So, but I'm sort of dipping my toe, getting back into football theme stuff. And so my third superlative is also going to be about football, but it's not the NFL.
Oh,
It's the USFL. What's that?
What's that, Don?
What's that, Don?
Missed my cue, apparently.
Wait. I know there are other football leagues out there, and that they start and stop, and they're like, they always are overshadowed, of course, by the NFL.
Of course.
But Flemlo Raps did a great video, a nice short one, the other day called "Not Dead Yet." And it's about the United States Football League. And they are now in their playoffs starting this weekend. And you can catch the playoffs on television.
Really?
And he's, it sounds to me like if you love football, why not watch? Because these are really good players too. So, and what he said is the USFL has done the impossible and made it through their first regular season, which, spring, summer football, which people... a lot of people say, why does the NFL have to stop and start, right? So this way you have football. And what he did in his video is kind of not that important.
Mhm.
It's worth listening to, but some people are panning their progress and saying, well, they don't have that many people going to the games and this and that. But the thing is, they held all of their games in one venue, I think in Georgia somewhere.
All right. Yeah. Mhm.
So they're not moving around. And so the viewership is increasing, even though, because not everybody wants to watch every single game. So if you're traveling from somewhere else to go see your game in Georgia, like let's say you're from Wisconsin or whatever, so you might just go to the one game. So having games at just one venue has kind of some drawbacks. And I know I've thought about that with the NFL. It's like, why don't they just, it's so expensive to put on all these games, all these different places. Why don't they just do it in one place? But it kind of makes more sense. So it's a cool video. It's pretty short and sweet, very informative. And I'm going to drop some links, obviously, to Flemlo's video, but also a schedule if you want to watch any of the USFL games this weekend or the playoffs in general for the next couple of weeks. So
cool.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, like those alternate football leagues, including like the Canadian Football League for that matter, I find them fascinating. I haven't yet followed them. If they got more traction, maybe I would kind of check that out. And I mean, it's true that though the NFL finds ways to like be, to do things, to make news, to be in our conscience, like all throughout the year, having actual football to watch during the NFL, off season, it sounds delightful, and I understand like the players can't play all year because just the damage it does to their bodies just to play a season,
Yeah.
So no, maybe I'll check that out actually. Do you happen to know off the top of your head like what it's broadcast on, like what platform or network or whatever? Because I have no idea.
I have it in the here. Where did I put it? Whoops.
Recognizing that I could Google this myself, but
no, yeah, I'll shoot you the link. Well, it's gonna be, where is it?
Be in our show notes.
Oh, here it is. Final schedule. Here it is. The final schedule, how to watch the 2022 USFL playoffs, dates, locations, matchups, TV schedule, and live stream info. So, the first game is tomorrow in Canton, Ohio. What a great place to go, because then you can go to the museum and all that. And it's actually at the Hall of Fame stadium. So I think that's pretty neat. It's between it's the top two. It doesn't say who the names of the teams.
Okay, top two, whoever there.
Yeah, the North and South. North and South are playing one another. So it's the New Jersey Generals against Philadelphia Saturday afternoon. That's on Fox at 3 p.m.
Fox.
3 p.m.
Really?
3 p.m. Yep,
3 p.m.
tomorrow. And then at 8 p.m. tomorrow, also, these are Eastern time, on NBC and Peacock is the Birmingham Stallions with the New Orleans Breakers in the South Division matchup. So those two were North and then South. Yep. So that's this weekend. And then the championship is going to be next weekend at July 3rd, Sunday, July 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Again, Eastern on Fox.
Nice. Yeah, I might try to check out one or two of those. Definitely. I mean, I miss watching football.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's in getting like dipping my toe and getting ready. And there's more information in this link that I'm sharing. So you'll have that to look at as well. I know it's exciting. It's exciting. I have a couple other superlatives, but I can maybe save them until next week. Those are my top three, and I forgot to give biggest success story, let's just say the USFL, because they are defying odds. Let's say.
Well, seriously, just to make it through a full season for one of those alternate leagues, like that has almost never happened so far.
Exactly.
It hasn't happened a lot. I mean, in Canadian football it has, like, but that they've got a thing going. But like, yeah, for the most part, like in America, in the USA, I should say, not a lot of success for those. So congratulations to them. That is great. That's cool.
Is that cool? I think it looked good. So I've been kind of carrying on with a new podcast called Persona, the French Deception. I'm not going to go into any of that information. Most refreshing summer sport is chess in the park. I've been following a woman's chess master playing in the, I believe it's Central Park in New York. It's super fun. Nice. Super fun. She's adorable. And she's like this young little girl, and she's going up against these guys have been sitting there playing chess for 40 years, and then she kind of plays with their head. It's really fun. And that's refreshing because you can see all the kids in the background and the families and the dogs walking through. It's really summery and nice. And and then some people may not consider this a sport, but there is a sporting group, and that's the Westminster Dog Show that happened in June last week. It normally happens in New York City in February over the Valentine's Day weekend, but it also happened, and there was an NFL connection. Okay. Do you know about that?
No, I don't know.
Okay, all right. Winston, the French Bulldog, who made it to the best in show, so he was, best in his group. Winston, the French Bulldog, is co-owned by Morgan Fox, who's a defensive lineman for the Chargers, no less. He previously played for the Rams and the Carolina Panthers, but Winston did not win. The winner went to Trumpet the Bloodhound.
Trumpet, why not?
Why not? So anywho, well, everyone, that was super fun, and I hope you enjoyed joining us either here live or replaying anywhere you're listening or watching. And Maddie, how about you wrap us up? Any final thoughts?
No, just that I'm really, again, thanks for being able to reschedule for this different time for the listeners. I know my kids are making some noise in the background, so hopefully that wasn't too distracting. And otherwise, we're really looking forward to next week's guest. We're slated to have Sam Holman joining us next week, which we've been looking forward to getting a chance to talk to him for a while. Really, of course, we've talked about his writing a lot, and now he's actually doing some podcasting as part of the Packernet network of podcasts. So looking forward to having him join us next week. But anyhow, friends, of course, you'll also find links in our show description for everyone we mentioned, so please check it out. Also, we'd love a chance to interview you and shout you out if you're a subscriber and a football fan, or one or the other. Either way. If you'd like to nominate someone to be a guest on our podcast, please let us know. Our DMs are open on all the social platforms. And folks, when you subscribe to our podcast, you help us to keep spreading the love in our community. And the best way to help this podcast grow is by sharing it with someone like who you think might like it with your friends and family.
That's right, Maddie. Yes. And we love you. And we're so glad to know you, all of you who are listening, and to be fans of you and to be fans of the most storied team in the NFL. We appreciate your support. You're sharing our pod and our videos now and your subscriptions. And we look forward to seeing you next week on.
Hey, we like your pod. We appreciate your support and we support your appreciation. That's right.
Football in general comes down to discipline and people owning their roles. And when you aren't disciplined or you go outside the scheme, bad stuff happens.